Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's yet another episode with Max Adventure and SAP Cloud Platform. Thanks for being patient. We had quite a lot of audio problems. Hope you can hear us now. I'm quite terrified to have my friend and colleague Marius with me. Should we
Hello.
try a high five?
Yes.
I'm not really
Is
sure
it
where we
right?
are.
No, no, the first
Just
one was
tried
right. The
both
first one was
directions.
right.
Anyway, it's episode 14. I hope you have a good lunch. What we are trying to do today, welcome, all good, looks fine. Thank you, DJ. We keep it rather casual today. To be honest, Marius hit me up with some things, and I tell you the story as it is. I'm the worst UI developer you can imagine. So Marius was hitting me up with an idea how to simplify my life somehow. And the first thing I want to show you, or Marius, how are you doing? I mean, I'm like,
We've been talking for the last hour, so better now.
how's your situation? I mean, I was like, quite nervous, quite set up, because the audio setup was working, but with my earpods, and I just walked around and got a water, and they were disconnected. And once they were disconnected, everything was screwed. But I hope you're doing fine because I definitely need you today.
Yeah, I mean, we already ran through all the live demo issues, so I think what we want to show will just work out fine, and there won't be any problems. And thanks for everyone for your patience to still stick around. And
Alrighty. Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Alok. Alok, nice to have you on. We'll switch over to my desktop, and I hope we don't have any audio problems on the other scene, but it could happen. If there's something wrong with our setup, just let us know. I'll make your video as big as mine. And you should hopefully see my VS Code now, which is our primary tool today, along with the Cloud Application Program Model and some others. But first, what I want to do is I want to invite my dear friend Marius to my VS Code session. And we're using a plugin. I'm not really sure if it's an extension which I have to install manually or it's installed by default. Marius, probably you have some
it is
thoughts on
an
that.
extension
Okay.
pack, actually, I think.
And a copy, and you will receive in our streaming tool, Marius, a link to my VS Code session.
Okay, got it. So it's really just a regular link. In this case, it says prod live share, blah, 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 visualstudio.com. And when I click it, I end up at a website that asks me, do I want to open live share for VS Code? And then I
Awesome.
confirm. So I tell you what I see, because this time I won't share my screen. It will only be Max's screen. And basically, VS Code opened for me. It takes some time because it's loading, it's connecting to the live share server. If you do it for the first time, you will have to log in with Microsoft credentials. That could be your GitHub account, your Azure account, whatever. Or you can log in as a guest, but if you want to have more access, you need to log in with a Microsoft account. So this is what I'm doing now.
You know what? We've been experimenting with all sort of things, and that's spontaneous. Why don't we share the read-only link with some guys on the stream so they could also join in VS
Sure.
Code and see what we are doing? I hope that's the read-only one.
I mean, what could go wrong?
And as you can already see, or hopefully can already see, we'll bump up my font size. I have a guest here in my participant list or attendee list or whatever, which is Marius. And what you should do always, or what I try to do, is click on follow participants to, for example, when Marius opens something in my VS Code, like a file or something, you usually won't see it in my VS Code. And once I say follow participant, I will also see his movements. So it's not currently adding a shared document. That's fine. I have no shared service. We will see that later on. And we have no shared terminals. You'll also see that later on. The session chat, well, we've been talking about that, but actually I don't have any real use case. Could be that if you're more attendees, or do you see any use case for the chat, Marius?
I mean, maybe when you're not connected via phone at the same time, but if you do it as we do, yeah, we
That
can
could
just
be tricky.
say.
That could get tricky. So, as usual, what we're gonna do, or as usual, it's like, yes, I have finally somebody on my stream which is working on me on a cat Java project. I couldn't convince DJ yet to come on a stream and work on a Java project, but finally, new code installation here, had to install LiveShare extension. Well, I'm happy to have you on, DJ, in a Java project, but I think that's not gonna happen. So what I'd like to do, we'll create really quick a Java project, which we will further on work on, or we abuse the Java project to have a CAP project and get some more data endpoints. And later on, well, you will introduce a lot of things to the guys on the stream about a human generator. I think you are the main contributor or the only one. I'm not really sure.
There are other contributors, but yeah, I'm the maintainer.
Which makes your life a little easier. Oh, DJ is on. So what I do is I use the CDS CLI for the Cloud Application Program Model to initiate a project. But first, let's do that in temp project, temp directory, and let's create a live stream project. And we'll have a Java project.
And by the way, I can already see everything that Max types in the terminal here in my VS Code. And if you connect to it, you probably saw it as well.
So I already have one shared terminal, which is read-only. So once Marius, for example, want to do something in there, he might not be allowed. Luckily, not be allowed to do anything in here. But I will enable him in a second to, for example, execute my project. I'm not really sure. Let's see how that works. Open folder. Let's try that.
It's not in the live share works. It's not in the workstream, right? In the workspace.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem. Probably we have to do it once again, but I'll try to live stream. So live stream. That's now in a new Visual Code.
Yeah, probably we have to connect again.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Probably I need to invite you once again because
now you can send me the link to the new project in the live chat of the old one.
Join collaboration. Where the hell is my it's loading, and what you can already see, I have installed the Fury Elements extension, which we might not tackle today, but probably in another stream. To use the time, do you want to say some words or already spoil a little bit about your generator?
Yeah, in a second, but now I have the problem you had yesterday with the live chat. I cannot open it. Can you send me the link? Okay, this live chat is still a little bit buggy, as you might have noticed.
Okay. I've sent you the link in the stream software, and I'll also send the link to the guys on the stream once again. That's my fault, but it's not the only fault today. I'm happy to be responsible for everything which is going wrong today.
I'll keep you up on that. Okay, so now it's loading the file tree.
Yeah, and I code the other session.
So exactly, yeah, what are we going to do now? So it's like, I think in every larger software project, there's not one full stack developer. And I would say there's a job title full stack developer, but I think in real life, there are not so many full stack developers. So usually you have the backend guys, like Max is doing the Java backend, and then at one point the front end comes in, which, as you know, with CDS or CAP project can happen really early in the project because you have this contracts first scheme. And then basically the UI people, they build their infrastructure on top in the same monorepo like what we do now. And then you have these two separate work streams where each team can work individually. And what I heard often, it's really like I heard it in person talks. I heard it in the Open UI5 Slack workspace. I heard it at inside tracks. I heard it everywhere that CAP is great and UI5 is great. And there are generators for both projects, but it's hard to marry them together if you want to have like this one project where you need UI in a backend, which, let's be honest, is in most projects the case.
Yeah.
So up until now, you really had to merge them manually, copy paste files. And I mean, it's not that bad because you don't do it every day. It's a job you do one time. But I thought, okay, as you know, and as Max said, I'm the maintainer of this easy UI5 generator. And I thought, okay, I guess it makes sense to just turn the generator to be like additive. So you can just run it on top of a CDS project. So if you run it in a new folder, it will create the mta.yaml with all the modules that you need in the services. But if now, what is in a new version, if you run it within a CDS project, it will see the mta.yaml that's already there, and it will just add the modules on top. Same goes for the package.json. It just adds additional dependencies and scripts in the existing package.json file.
All right. I mean,
and this is
enough of
what
talking.
I showed today. Yeah.
So I have a couple of guys that I've been kind of busy with accepting guys in the sharing session. We have Robert, I guess, in here. We have Marius, we have DJ. I hope, I'm not really sure who is like read only now, frankly speaking. But we have, for example, I opened a terminal, and I hope Marius is able to see them, or the other guys on the stream.
I see
And
it.
what I do here, that could be a problem. I'd like to ask you, everybody else, that Marius, please do not type anything in the terminal. It seems like that everybody's read and write enabled.
Max already had a hard time today, so please.
Welcome, Roddy, to the session. All right, so do you want to do me, or let's just explain what my CDS CLI command did. Were you already typing, or is it somebody else?
I didn't do anything.
Okay, all right. All right, kind of distracting. So we have a service, a catalog service, which is projecting some of my, go to definition, hopefully that works, to my entity model in the data model.cds file. All right, cool. We have a running or a working cat project. Marius, do you want to type it? It's, or, yeah. Okay. Spring minus boot.
Does that mean I do Java?
Yes, yes. Double func run. Here we go. I'm not doing anything. You see my hands. That's the evidence. Let's see if that works.
And while it runs, I have to close the door to my bedroom. Sorry, it's kind of noisy with the traffic.
Can I revoke rights here somehow?
I mean, we all signed in with our, well, at least I signed in with my Microsoft ID, so you should maybe be able to block users. But
yeah, well, I'm able to remove users.
Oh, okay.
So Ronnie, Robert, I'd like to ask you to behave. All right, so my application is started. Started application. I'll just show you that, for example, if I bring up another Chrome window, localhost 8080, that I already got the cat project with some data. That's fine. All right, but what I want to do, I mean, I'm developing together with mainly Marius and secondly you. Can I configure manage extension? No, okay. Also, Murat, to you, please behave. I can not only share terminals, but I can share some servers. For example, the guy's coming in really, really fast. If I, for example, share my servers with you, I can enter a port for a server on my local host. It's 8080. That's my max cap project. And you can try it out. Please don't DDoS my server on my local host. But for example, Marius might now be able to use my, come on, what do I want it to say? My local cap project.
Yes.
And I'm not really sure
I
if
can see it.
you, do you have a script or something available to just enter some data?
I do. I prepared some.
Nice.
HTTP, let's say I just added 2 new records, and let me refresh to make. I cannot see them yet. Oh, it's not insertable. You have to edit the service.
All right, then let's do that in a second. Or do you want to do it?
I can do it.
Well, give me a second. I'll close the file. If you go to, here we go. Somebody opened the cat CDS.
I've done it already.
Have you restarted the server as well?
I just did it in a second.
Okay, I'm not really sure who is doing it. But I'm happy to have so many supporters because I'm the weakest one you can imagine. And I see that also some guys are chatting in the session. Lucky to have you interacting with each other. Unfortunately, let me know in the chat let me know in the YouTube chat if the chat in VS Code is working for you, because for Marius and me, it isn't working.
I can try this session. 11. I see 11 new chats. Oh, okay. I can see it now.
Oh, okay. I out one thing. I start or bring up. Where's my? Okay. A new window.
Okay. DJ already. I assume it's DJ already entered some data. So he stole ID 42.
Yes.
And I just added 2 more records as well. No.
Here we go. I'm not doing anything. You guys are abusing my cap project, or helping me to make my cap project big. All right, that's the beginning, and that's just playing around with VS Code features, with sharing terminals, with sharing servers, which is, from my point of view, brilliant. Makes it so powerful to develop together on some things. But now we want to go over to the things you've just been talking about. I mean, that's something where I'm confident working with Cap Java, with the HDI container, with Cloud Platform. But once it comes to a UI, which makes it always fancy for demos, for showcases, for productive development, to have an UI, right? So, and now you're coming into the game. And I'd like to say that the stage is yours, but let's do one thing. I'll bring up a new terminal.
2 more things. We have to change the production database to Hana.
Oh, right, yeah.
And was there something, a second thing? Oh, yeah, we have to do this MTA modification so that we see the sample data once it's deployed.
Okay. So the first thing is we do want to have a Hana. And it's not a POM XML, it's my package JSON. And I have to admit, I don't know why CDS add Hana doesn't change my package JSON accordingly. And we want to have an MTA file, right? Mm-hmm. Let's have a look at the MTA file, what happens. That looks rather fine. That's my cap service or server. That's my database. And what we need to do here is, come on guys, behave. Spring profiles active is cloud. All right, that sets the environment variable for Cap Java to start in the cloud profile and is connecting to a HANA database instead of looking for, I'll just open it for a second that I'm not talking about ghosts. And not trying to connect to the default profile, which is a SQLite database. Cool. Should we do one thing and deploy that in the background?
Yeah, let's do the commands.
Hopefully.
Debuild.
How many guys do we have? Awesome.
So, I mean, actually, while it's doing the job, I can already start, right?
Yeah, that's
Because
the
when
awesome
I
thing.
switch to the Jira terminal, and let's say, can you create a new terminal? Because I think creating terminals is only up to you.
Yep, luckily. I create a new one. By the way, what would be really awesome is to change the terminal names here. Make read write. So you should now be able to. Nope, you didn't create anything. That's been done by me. Okay. Yeah, you're already doing it.
So the usual command, yo, easy UI5, Max already has the latest version installed because we tested it yesterday, and I just hit this command, and then you see the usual prompts that you always see when you start easy UI5 generator.
Am I allowed to chime in?
Yeah.
Do you want to give folks an idea of what the human generator is? Or human?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, me as a Java developer, I heard human, and I thought like.
It is a Node module because Node is a great platform. It doesn't consume a lot of. No. It's a generator tool and or a scaffolding tool, and you can write generators that are building on this scaffolding tool. In my case, I built one that creates UI5 projects, Open UI5, SAP UI5 projects, and it just so you can define templates, how do the manifest a JSON file, what should it contain, which properties, which HTML file, XML file, and then you can add placeholders, and you can calculate those placeholders based on the input that the user gives during this command invocation. So the first question is, how do you want to name this project? There is already a name that we defined. It was livestream, as you can see in the mta.yaml. So I just keep the same name because otherwise it would audit, for example, in the mta.yaml. Let's say the namespace is com.sap, and I want to write a Fiori application that can run on the cloud platform on the portal.
Yep. Do you want to give me a second?
XML? Yep.
Well, you actually don't need to care about me, but in the background, I'm just deploying the things here once again, because I think I didn't save the package.json, or somebody of you edited it. That's the thing here. Over to you again.
Okay. So now I just stick with the default view name. And now this is the only very important thing. We don't want to create a new directory for this UI5 project because we want to overwrite the mta.yaml and the package.json that is already there. So I say, yeah, I just do that now. I say no. Here's live app is the name that we will see in the title on the Fiori Launchpad. And then it notices, oh, there is already a package.json file. Do you want to override it? And I click A because I want to override this file and all other upcoming conflicts like the mta.yaml. And that's basically it. Now it created, we can already see on the left side. You don't see it when I hover it, but if you have a look at the file directory tree on the left side, you see the app router is there, the deployer is there, the launchpad module is there, and the UI module is there.
And that wasn't DJ this time, that was the human generator.
Yes. It took me a while to, what? Oh yeah. And you can see when I close the mta.yaml, I don't want to save the changes, and I open it again.
I'm not following you. Just give me a second. I need to focus you. Follow participant. Do you want to close it?
I closed it and opened it again.
Okay, then I'm not sure.
I think following is only when the file is open.
Yeah, do you want to save the changes? I'm not really sure who is playing with. Okay, so that's I just want to close it. So you opened the
mta.yaml file.
I need to. I guess I need to kick some guys because somebody's pasting and copying things here. Sorry, Robert. I don't want to kick you out, but So, where were we? MTA YAML, right?
Yep.
MTA YAML. Here we go. Stage is yours.
So, yeah, now you see me moving the file in the file. So you see that there was already the server module that's still there. There's the DB module that's still there, and now there's also the app router module, and the deploy module, and the launchpad deployer module. So this is all stuff that the human generator generate on top of this file. The downside is that because I overwrite the file, all the comments were removed. So when you do the CDS init, there are comments that explain a little bit what each module means in the MTA file. That these comments are gone. That's yeah. I think it's not too bad. It would be better if that wouldn't happen, but I think just the way how I parse the MTA.yaml and I write it back, there's no way to store them.
So just to recap, what you've done was pretty fast. You executed Yo Easy UI5, right? Configured the project, the UI projects you want to have, like is it a Fiori Launchpad configuration? How's the namespace for the UI5 application? Do you want to override the package JSON, etc.? Then you generate the folders and reference them in the mta.yaml file. What you've done here with, for example, referencing the app router, referencing the deployer module, all sort of things. And by the way, if you have no idea what the app router, if the deployer, etc. is, DJ has quite a lot of stuff in his streams, and I might be able to display it somewhere here in the replay. All right.
And similarly, when you go to the package.json, there are also new modules there. We don't have to go in. You open it, so you see, for example, the deploy script is there and the build for the UI modules, but that's also not so important. This is also a file or the generator overwrote or is overwritten. And that's basically all that we need for now. And now basically we have this UI project and a cut project, and now we have to bring them together. So for local development, I'll open the UI5.yaml file in the UI module folder. Can you open it too to see it?
You have opened it.
Okay. And then I basically override the destination. I call it live destination, and it runs on this URL, but this is the wrong port. This is the port for Java.
Do you also want to spend, or do you want to give us an elevator pitch what this UI5.yaml is, which is, well, I'm not a UI5 guy. I did use the web IDE every now and then and did some UI5 coding, but UI5 YAML was for me mind-blowing.
Yeah, so good question. So the UI5.yaml file is basically the configuration file of the UI5 tooling. So what it generated as well, it installed UI5 tooling, and the UI5 tooling is this great framework that you could use for local development. And it's for development, you can start a development server. You can define the packages, the UI5 packages that are used in your project. The packages will be downloaded from NPM. The build process to minify the JavaScript files for all these jobs. The UI5 tooling is like the engine who enables this. And you can write extensions, or they're called custom tasks and middleware. So custom middleware and custom task. And one of the middleware written by Volker is Volker and music, but I think most of the credits goes to Volker, is this UI5 middleware CF destination. And this basically mocks the destination we have in the Cloud Foundry environment as well. So here I defined there's a destination, the name is livestream, and the local version of this destination is localhost port 8080.
Which is pointing to my CapJava project running locally.
Exactly that, and it's still running in the first terminal. So what I do, thank you. If no one killed it, it's still there. I see it.
I'm not really sure. By the way, we wanted to deploy like the first version of our cap project to Cloud Platform while we are working in here, but somebody destroyed my project and I need to deploy it again. But in the meantime, we already have this whole UI5 stuff already in there. So there's no initial version which we can show you the comparison. Anyway.
So, and what I've done in the local environment now, we have to define in the mta.yaml as well, because there is already the server module and the app router, but we have to link them together. And this is basically in the server module, we can already see out of the box, there was this provides SRV binding with SRV URL.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically the URL of the service once it's running. And now in the app router, which is this module here, in the requires section, I just add a new dependency.
It was a little fast, but anyway, yeah.
And the dependency is references this SRV binding. It's of group destination. There are some properties that are important for the app router, how it should forward traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And here we specify the URL again, this SRV URL.
Which is pointing back to my cap Java URL, which is the app providing by default.
Exactly.
Like, where do we have it? Once again, SRV binding and this property of the module livestream server, which is the cap service. It's quite confusing in the beginning to use those properties, but it's super powerful. I hated the whole MTA stuff initially, but once you get used to it, it's still a little clunky and lots to know, but really powerful.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. So okay, now there's this issue we saw yesterday. I see the MTA YAML saved now. Do you see that it's saved too?
It's not
okay,
saved.
Can you save it again? I think that's also a little bit buggy in this.
And the UI5 YAML most likely too, right?
Yep.
And I just want to check who edited my bookshop books CSV. And I see DJ working in here. All right.
I think we have to kick DJ out. Okay, so while I see that I opened the main view.xml.
Not yet. My machine is still working. I just opened it.
Okay, great. So we don't write a very complex UI5 application in this demo. It's more about how to connect the parts. So for now, I basically just replace the empty page with the page that
the body you had was generated by the UML generator, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That generates.
So that's the first thing you do now in order to write a UI.
Yeah, that's the only thing. So there's already this app control that can contain multiple pages. It contained one page, and I just replaced that page with the page with the title available books. It's bound to the default model books, and it just displays the title of the book, how many copies there are in stock, and the ID of that book. Then I saved this file, but you probably have to save it again.
It's already saved for me.
This time it worked. Okay.
I just discovered a new toolbar up there, and I have no idea what it is. Okay. Well, anyway, just leave it there.
Okay. So what I can already do, and you can do as well, if you go to no, you cannot do it yet. But let me run npm start, and then you can go to localhost port 8081, and there you should already see the web application with this empty page.
Didn't show the guys in which terminal you were working.
Oh, I ran npm start.
So he in the root of the project, so in my cap project I created initially, and it's out of the box opening the Fury Launchpad, or a a sandbox of the Fury Launchpad with a new app. Shall I click in it?
Yeah. Yes, please.
A little bit more enthusiasm.
Yeah, I had to open it myself during the same time. Yes. So you see,
any data.
There is no data because there's no model in the UI5.yaml. So what we do now is, I wouldn't have to close the terminal session, but to keep it simple and not to make too many sessions open, I just stop the server and I run another so-called subgenerator of UML, and we could do that with colon. So we still do easy UI5 colon new model And then, do you see that already in the stream?
Yeah.
Okay, I hit enter.
I'll just bump up the font size once again.
Okay. And then it will also ask me some questions we haven't seen before, like what is the name of the model? I want to name it a default model, so I hit enter. It should be OData version 4, confirm with enter, two-way binding, enter. And these are all like UI5 details. If you are a UI5 developer, you probably know what it means, two-way binding, OData v4 model. And then what is the data source of the URL? And here I just paste this OData v4 catalog service, because this is when you look at where your local OData endpoint runs, that's the URL of the service catalog.
Yeah, that's my running tab. Yeah, I have it opened.
Okay. And then I confirm, and it asks me again, do you want to overwrite files? Like it will overwrite a manifest.json because it has to add data about this model in the file. Confirm with A. And that's basically it. So if we go, oh no, npm start again, Max, you won't have to do anything because npm start automatically opens the browser in a new tab where the Fiori Launchpad runs. So that should happen for you.
Developing with you, I don't have to do anything.
And
I was actually lying. I mean, it was called pair programming, but it's actually called Max sitting around Marius programming.
Okay.
So if I click on the app once again, we still have no data.
That's okay. I see it too. So let's see why. Is the 8080, is that still running? That is running. And I get an error with, oh, yes, yeah. There is.
Don't tell me, I want to analyze it too.
Okay.
I'm just opening the developer tools and loading the data once again. I probably know what it is. Is it because of authentication?
No, it shouldn't be authentication. There
are
some errors in the log.
Just start indexing length, failed to get context for, could not load metadata for not found.
OData v4 cannot get.
What?
Interesting. Oh, yes, of course. That's actually on purpose. I just forgot one step. Because we didn't define a route from the app router to the destination. So we declared the destination, we defined what the destination means, where it can find the resource, but our application doesn't know when should the destination be used. And we do that in the app router configuration access app.json. And here I replace the empty array route with an array that contains one route. It takes traffic that goes to OData and redirects it to the destination called live test.
But that means you're already starting the UI5 project again. That means that my destination on Cloud Platform, the final goal is always to deploy to Cloud Platform or to any other cloud provider or whatever. The destination, a Cloud Platform specific thing, also has to be named live test. Or if you start the UI5 tooling locally, it's grabbing the information from your UI5 YAML. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's the same destination name, just two different destinations where they point to.
Okay.
Is the data here now? I can already see it, so I hope you can see it as well.
Yes, here we go. Nice. We have the data. Cool. All right.
So that's all there is to it. Now we can switch to the second terminal.
To the second terminal.
Deploy to the cloud. I'm not sure if we have the time.
We do have some time. We started late.
Okay. Yeah, true. So the idea is we package all the modules together in this one mtar archive, and this archive contains all the modules, the Node.js dependencies, because if I'm right, we don't ignore the Node modules. Yes, the dependencies are all in this archive, so it is probably a larger archive with a size of, I would guess, like 150, 200 megabytes that we then have to upload to SAP Cloud Platform. The advantage is that when the archive is there, SAP Cloud Platform won't have to fetch the dependencies and install them.
Okay,
What we could
just
do,
that was really fast. Two options. One, you could say, I'm not really sure where to mention that here. I have to look it up, to be honest. You could say ignore some folders in my project, for example.
Build parameters, ignore, and then node modules.
Okay. Then the MTA archive is built without the node modules folder. But then, well, you have a smaller package or archive to upload to Cloud Platform, which is good for every project in Germany because we didn't have that good internet. No, I'm kidding. But once it's uploaded to Cloud Platform needs to install the packages, which means that the deployment process overall is at more or less the same time. It's just who is up to installing the packages. If it's the MBT build, how would you name the process? Not the deployment process, but starting the Diego cell or the build pack phase or whatever on Cloud Platform.
There's the droplet build.
Droplet build, yeah.
Droplet build, I think. Yeah.
That could take some time.
Yeah, I think especially it's still building now because obviously your MacBook is probably like doing everything, encoding, 2 live streams, then the VS Code live share, and now also on top the build with minifying the JavaScript.
But what we could do is to talk about some JavaScript jokes, but I think there's not enough time to just bump up to drop all of them. I'm not really sure if you've tried the Fiori elements or the Fiori tools in VS Code.
I had a chance. I mean, I'm not sure if we promoted it yet, but there is let me find out the link. We have a new tutorial in the tutorial navigator that covers the Fiori elements. It is live, but it is live since 2 days, so probably it's very new to you. But I have to open Outlook to get the link. And it's a tool belt that is pretty cool. You can basically, you have a wizard. It's also human based in VS Code that you can connect to an OData V4 for sure. I think also V2 service.
V2, yeah.
Yeah, and V4. Oh, yeah. I don't want to promise too much. To an OData service. And then you can get a Fiori list report application. You have embedded annotations language FLL language server protocol, an embedded annotation language server protocol, so you can make use of the autocomplete feature of VS Code. You just need to write li and then it suggests, do you mean line item? Do you mean UI? All these Fiori annotations. Do you want to add a new chart? Do you want to add a new object page with a page GUI so that you can see all pages of your Fiori application? So there are a lot of great tools. Max, you are already way faster than I am. You already have the link. I'm talking too much. It's a great tool. It already comes with the Business Application Studio pre-installed, and you can install it on VS Code as well on your local machine, and that is also explained in the tutorial. Yeah. But actually, you don't need a tutorial to explain because we already have VS Code open. You go to extensions, search for Fiori tools, the expansion pack, and click install.
I've already installed it. I'm not sure if Volker is on my live share. So we have the extension pack with quite some tools to simplify it. Well, it's not one tool to do everything with Fiori development, but for me, it simplifies a lot of things. So I think we don't have enough time, but that's probably something to follow up in next week's. For me, it was super simple to take a CAP project and create a list report or whatever in Fiori elements with it without a single line of code. Yeah, I don't think, well, following DJ approach, not to squeeze in everything in one stream, probably that's a good cliffhanger for the next episode. Yeah, the project is still deploying, and I definitely think that takes some more time. Where are the tests I need to quickly implement? Well, Volker, how much time do you need to write some? Well, let's try it out. You just joined. I have on localhost 8080 my OData v4 service running. We have a UI local 20 minutes. Volker, he was promising too much. No, but seriously, Volker offered to do some testing or to come on for some testing or creating tests for UI5, for OData, for whatever. So that's something to look forward. Typo 20 seconds. Okay. I have no idea what Volker is doing. Let me know what you need. I hope Marius is still on.
I'm still here.
I'm quite curious what Volker is doing. If you're failing,
I mean,
we just cut it out.
No, maybe he's talking about I'm not sure, but maybe the UI5 tests that he adds a test to the mta.yaml. Not mta.yaml, to the web app, sorry.
Here's a test folder. Is that something you created, Marius?
Yeah, there is already a test folder in the UI module.
Okay, Volker. Well, we are just talking. Feel free to do whatever with the project.
All your tests belong to me.
Yeah. Well, feel free, Volker.
Okay, so what I can already see, let me paste that in the. Probably it makes more sense to paste it in the live chat because it doesn't open, so I paste it in the YouTube chat. We see in the logs the web server already deployed, so the backend module with the data, hopefully.
I'm not sure what was deployed actually.
No, I can see it in the logs. Everything was deployed, except if someone kicked out the app router. Who did that? Can I do CF apps to see what applications are there? Live stream?
No, there's no app router.
Who did this? It's not funny. No, but I can still see it in the mta.yaml.
Yeah, that's strange.
Very strange.
Anyway,
we're almost there. So if the app router would be there, because it can you run a CF HTML5 list?
For sure, or you can run it as well. It's your terminal, feel free.
CF HTML5 list. So what we should see here is that the UI5 app, the web application, is in the HTML5 application repository, .sap, that was our namespace. Live, it should also be live stream, so someone touched that file as well. Next time, we don't share the link. Yeah, I mean, we can try one more time the mbt build. Why is it not here?
I think there's quite some load on my machine because of all the participants, and VS Code needs to do whatever they do. So, that's all live. We haven't scripted anything.
Yeah, actually, the decision was also live to share that link. In retrospective, we don't do it again.
Yeah, my assumption was that everybody who's joining is read-only. That's something I have to figure out. I'm not really sure what. So what's your plan? Do you want to deploy it once again? But that definitely takes like 3 or 4
it takes some time and it should work.
Should we run it up?
Yep.
Should we run it up? Okay. What did we do? We created a cap. What programming language did we use? Do you want to say it, Marius?
It was JavaScript, but something was missing.
We created a cap Java project with the CDS CLI and had the service, the database level. Is it called level? Whatever. My brain. That's the reason why I'm in vacation next week. And we used Marius Obert generator to generate a UI5 module, including the app router, including app repo, deploying to the repo, so the host and the runtime. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Exactly.
And also use the human generator to create a model, a UI5 model, referencing my cap Java project locally with the UI5 tooling, and also later on can be used in the cloud platform simply with building the MTA archive and using CF deploy to push it to cloud platform.
Yep.
And all of that with, well, we needed some clicks. It definitely takes some time to get used to it, but from my point of view, it's getting way better than it's been like weeks and months ago. From my point of view.
In case you're curious what the generator really did, what were the steps that it did to add the web app and all the modules around, I wrote a blog post this week. I pasted it in the chat. If you want to understand how does the Fiori Launchpad work in the Cloud Foundry environment, how do you get your web app from a standalone web app to the FLP Launchpad.
Which chat was it? Because it's not
no, it's the YouTube.
I can't see it.
You can't?
Nope.
Do you see DJ? Would love to see that on a full episode. It's directly after that.
Can't see it yet. Not simple. Right.
Do you see the second message from DJ? Great session. Thanks, Max and Marius.
Yeah, that's coming in now.
Okay. And in between.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I can't see yours.
Okay. Well, YouTube knows my messages. Okay. I cannot hear you anymore, Max. Audio problems are coming back in the last second, right? Okay, so we cannot hear Max, so I hope you can still hear me. Can you in the chat, right? If you hear me. Otherwise, I'll just close the session for Max, and I think that works as well. Oh, now he's coming back with an echo. Okay, so everyone can still hear me, so thank you for listening. I know it was a little bit a chaotic session this time with some echo now, but that's how our live sessions work. I hope you still enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. If you have questions, just hit me up in the SAP community or Max, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Marius, for running it up. Bye.